Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. The disc-shaped E9 grade ship flew at sub-light speed carefully through the space, dodging the dangerous spots. Within the resting quarters. Everybody sit. Taiwo smiled and sat in the sofa. Using his undying energy to control a wine bottle and some glasses, he poured 10 cups of wine. The crystal-clear glasses floated before the 10 of them. He lifted his glass. "Let's toast," he said. "Ha ha." The 9 members smiled carefree and lifted their glasses. "For our luck in this battle, for our 2 new exceptional members, let's toast," Taiwo said. "Cheers. Cheers." The group of sector lords laughed loudly. Any one of them, when placed in the normal star fields, would all be large figures living it up. However, they all chose to come to the outer region wars, because they all had the hopes of becoming even stronger and fighting other stronger warriors. As per usual, we'll first reflect on the battle. Taiwo placed his glass down. That battle before, everything was within the enemy's control. Whether it was the Thunder Hell setup, or the 9 armies of Thunder puppets, the 3000 F-grade puppets holding me up and killing you all after etc., everything was within his plan. The 9 members listened intently. All the other old members did well, staying not too far from me and Poison. Even in danger, Poison would be able to give his all and save you all. Taiwo revealed a smile. The 2 new recruits did very well too. Amongst which I'm very satisfied with Rock. He did as well as the old members. I believe that through some more experience, he will get stronger too. Of course. The one that made everybody the happiest was, we got a new powerful member, Madman. Taiwo looked at Luo Feng. Madman. Madman. The group looked at him and cheered. In such a dangerous place such as the battlefields, it was a good thing to have such powerful teammates. Because of him, Poison didn't need to go all out, and we saved a valuable potion. Taiwo looked at the childlike Poison squatting on the sofa. "Poison, you've got it made." Hee. Poison grinned at Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked shocked at him. This chemist was very strong. Madman. Demon Lady's voice was enchanting. Poison is the second strongest in our group. He once defeated an Undying before. Defeated an Undying? Luo Feng looked shocked at him. What? Rock was even more shocked. Even the 9th form of the Nanshan armament, a match against Undying, was only a match, and could be used for survival. It couldn't exactly defeat an Undying. Of course the Heavenly Bridges level 13, 14 and 15 all used this move, of which the 15th level's move had the ability to already kill a normal Undying. However, that was the Heavenly Bridge level 15. The requirement for official level Undyings. Such an absolute genius would definitely become a Sector Lord core member of the Virtual Universe Company. The main thing is that I can rely on my natural ability and potions combined with the plant life form I nurtured. Poison smiled. 1 potion costs close to 80 mixed elements to succeed. Hee. Madman, you've saved me 80 mixed elements. Come, let's drink. Luo Feng lifted his glass, filled with respect within. A chemist was able to create special potions, even according to one's own needs, nurturing special plant life forms. To reach this level, he is pretty impressive. Luo Feng thought. Other than the captain and Poison, Madman, you are our 3rd ranked warrior now. Mad Wu laughed. The 3rd? And you don't need potions like Poison. The others all laughed and said. This battle allowed everyone to know the strengths of their 2 new recruits. They got a good grasp on the 2 of them. Especially the new Madman, who was regarded as the 3rd ranked in the team. Luo Feng was indifferent. He didn't care about such ranks, even though his earth body alone had the ability to kill an Undying. The ship continued forward. In a flash, 2 months had passed, and even though they did encounter 2 other attacks, they were able to easily settle it. After all, a team led by an Undying with 9 Sector Lord Generals wasn't something just anyone could deal with. This was also why they headed to a special location, the other location's enemies were simply too weak, and accumulating contribution points simply took too long. The two attacks before shore were weak, and the moment they saw we had an undying, they all fled. So boring. This makes accumulating points too slow. The members discussed within the resting quarters. We've got 2 more days to reach the starfield 001289038484. Shattered Stars. Taiwo said, Shattered Stars is a more renowned battlefield area, as large amounts of other race warriors lay hidden there. Over there, we will definitely be pushed. The only thing we will be complaining about is our own lack of strength. Madman. A deep voice resounded, the most sturdy-looking of the team, Hammer, looked at him. What's your contribution points quota? My contribution points quota. Luo Feng frowned. Every soldier in the outer regions had a quota to hit. They had to get sufficient points to free themselves. For example, if one had a request of 1 million points, starting at 0, killing in the battlefields would give them points. Until they reached 1 million, only then could he choose to retire, exchange for treasures, or continue to fight, even fight alone, etc. He would gain the right to choose. And before hitting that quota, they would have to obey the army orders. Right, how many do you have? Madman's quota should be high. The Sector Lord team sat in the sofas and looked over. My. Luo Feng said casually, it's still okay, the quota is 1 billion. 1 billion. The white armored god stared wide-eyed, did I hear right? Luo Feng nodded curiously, right, 1 billion. Was this number absurd? He thought it should be within a normal range. Damn, 1 billion. My god. It's 1 billion. Even the calm Taiwo stood up. The old members all looked shocked at Luo Feng. The illusionist Wei stroking his cat turned quickly at Rock. Rock, how much is your quota? Mine is 200 million. Rock said. Not bad. It's already impressive. But Madman, it's absurd, it's actually 1 billion. The members all discussed. The 2 new members, however, were curious. Just what did this quota actually mean? Even though Luo Feng's status was high, he had only checked on some information he needed to know. As for just what this quota number actually implied, he didn't know. If you interact enough with the other sector lords, you would know. Taiwo exclaimed, the capable ones do the most work. The stronger one is, the higher his quota would be. When the new recruits first joined the outer region wars, they would be given their quotas. These would accurately represent their strength. And the authority they are given is only the most raw judgment of their strength. The normal sector lord, the elite and the general, these are unclear levels. The sector lords usually have a lowest quota of 1 million, the highest being 1 billion. Of which a normal soldier normally has 1 million to 10 million. The elites have 10 million to about 100 million. Sector lord generals have 100 million to 1 billion. Taiwo said, the quotas between 100 million to 1 billion are all sector lord generals, of which they have different levels of strengths too. It's obvious that Rock is already very exceptional for a new recruit. Even without any experience in the battlefield, he's gotten this strong. Madman, however, you are simply. Luo Feng was stunned. 1 billion is the top limit of a general. For anyone that has such a high quota, it means you have the strength no weaker than a normal undying. Taiwo emphasized. The virtual universe company's system will never be wrong, you have the strength to match a normal undying. The members were all shocked as they looked at him. However, they didn't know that sector lords that could match a normal undying did have quotas of 1 billion. However, those able to kill a normal undying, or even an official level undying etc., all had the same 1 billion quota. As that was the absolute limit for sector lords. They didn't know that Luo Feng's strength was much more terrifying than what they imagined. For them, being able to match and kill a normal undying was already heavenly. So, that's how it is. Luo Feng shook his head and laughed. Growing through the many life or death experiences in the battlefield before reaching general level. There are many sector lords that go through this. However, those able to match and kill a normal undying, those are extremely few and rare, of our entire 26th base, there are probably only 2 or 3 such sector lords. Taiwo exclaimed. In contrast, our alliance partners, even our enemies the Bug Clan sector lord queens, automaton sector lords, many are able to kill undyings. Some of their warrior talents are simply too heavenly, as for human sector lords able to do so are simply too rare. However, our team now has one. Taiwo smiled at him. Poison looked at him too. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. Their team now had 3 undying level strengths. Unlike Poison that had to rely on potions, Luo Feng truly had the battle strength of an undying. This would naturally raise their survival rate in Shattered Stars by a lot. Howl. Luo Feng could only smile. 1 billion contribution points quota. He didn't even think about the number. This quota was something the system itself had allotted him. It was a formality. Every sector lord ranged between 1 million to 1 billion, and his strength was enough to be given the limit. However, the Virtual Universe Company had another request for him to accomplish through his life or death training. That request was 10 trillion points. After completing it, only then could he leave the Outer Region Wars. This was his life or death training. This was the Army's request, and another was the Virtual Universe Company's sector lord level request. One was 1 billion, another was 10 trillion. Hence, Luo Feng didn't even think his 1 billion was a lot. The Virtual Universe had high standards for every Primal Region sector lord. Since, Luo Feng was one that had passed the Domain Lord Sky Mountain, and acquired 3 billion points in reward, also being the Primal Chaos City Leader's disciple, one could only imagine their level of request and expectation they had of him. It was definitely the highest amongst all the Primal Region sector lords. 10 trillion points quota. This was also after careful consideration from the company. Time passed. We'll be arriving at our destination in half a day. Taiwo gazed at the 9 sector lord generals, and his eyes were solemn. Shattered Stars is a very dangerous region. Madman and Rock, you probably know very little about the area. Before we arrive, I'll explain it to the both of you. Luo Feng and Rock listened intently. Luo Feng didn't dare relax at all. The other races had all sorts of methods and tactics. The moment he wasn't careful, even if he was strong, he'd still be killed. The entire star field is a battlefield. Battles can erupt at any time. Taiwo looked at the two of them. However, there are 2 types of battles. One is the army battles, and the other is between elite teams. Universe level and domain lords, these are weak. And some normal sector lord soldiers, without the invitation of any elite team, would be sent to lead large amounts of universe and domain lords, forming a huge army. Taiwo said, these armies are led by an undying to go into war with the other armies. The undyings would fight other undyings and the weaker ones would fight each other. We are different. We are an elite sector lord team, just us alone is akin to a full army. Taiwo said. However, we are small in numbers, and there are many empty spaces within the 7th Starfield battlefield. We can easily spot the enemies, fleeing as soon as we know we are not a match. Hence these areas aren't fit to be battlefields. Special regions are thus made within this 7th battlefield. The 4 pinnacle races put their strongest warriors within the regions and massacre each other. The battles are intense. We are heading to the 001289038484 region, Shattered Stars system. It's a more renowned battle region. Over trillions of years, who knows how many warriors have fallen there. Taiwo gently tapped in mid-air. A light screen immediately formed and on it a star map appeared. This is Shattered Stars system. Taiwo pointed at the map. Luo Feng looked carefully. Shattered Stars system. It was like a region filled with asteroids. The legendary Shattered Stars system, when this secret region hadn't become a battlefield yet, it was a huge planet. According to what was said, it had a diameter of over 10 million kilometers. Taiwo exclaimed, later on, this planet was completely destroyed by one of the demon clan's top races, the 1000 Centipede clan. The planet was reduced to countless remains floating within this space, with a diameter of 0.8 light-years. Through countless battles after, these remains get shattered further over and over, hence there are countless fragments throughout the area. These fragments are called shattered stars. And this whole 0.8 light-years in diameter area is called shattered stars system. Tai Wo said. Luo Feng nodded. Shattered stars. Has anybody calculated how many pieces there are? It's shocking. Almost every 100 million kilometer area has fragments, and some with more in density. Some are more sparse within the entire area. Tai Wo laughed. It may be due to it being a secret region, but the fragments are incredibly cold and sturdy. Even a sector lord's strength will find it hard to break these fragments. And because they are hard to destroy, Shattered Stars system became a renowned battlefield with large amounts of other race warriors hidden within. Tai Wo said. You too must remember. There are simply too many other race warriors, hence we cannot fight for too long, or draw too much attention. Tai Wo emphasized. The moment the battle drags, it may attract others to rush over, and once we get surrounded, that would be it. If the battle is too flashy, even an official level undying with an undying body, one who is arrogant and powerful, would be reduced to nothing and destroyed. Luo Feng nodded. This disc-shaped E9 ship finally reached Shattered Stars system. Through the external simulator, Luo Feng gazed out. He could see floating planet fragments throughout the space. These fragments were all over, and a formless energy permeated through everywhere. The energy here sure is shocking. Countless warriors have fallen throughout these areas. Poison laughed. If you feel uncomfortable, you can send part of your consciousness into the virtual universe network to relax. No one will make fun of you. After all, we won't be here for a day or two, but for hundreds to thousands of years. There's a human sector lord team. Luo Feng looked at his screen. On the battlefield, humans naturally could assist each other. The main thing was to keep a portion of the consciousness connected to the virtual universe network. That way, if there were any allies or partners within a 1 billion kilometers area, they would appear. 1. Displaying ally markers within a 1 billion kilometers area. 2. Distress signals. All human allies within the 10 billion kilometers area would receive it. These were the two huge uses of the virtual universe network in the battlefield. Of course, there were other uses like reporting and calculations, etc. Shattered Stars system has many other race warriors. Mad Wu smiled. There are many humans too, along with allies from other races. It's normal to discover allies within the 1 billion kilometers area. They progressed. They often discovered other allies and their markers about. Stop. We'll stop at the Shattered Stars system nest for a while. Tai Wo ordered. The ship slowed down swiftly. Let's get out. Luo Feng and the others swiftly flew out, and Tai Wo kept the resting quarters first before keeping the ship. The group stood in space. The path we flew by, especially the regions we recently passed, had many other humans and allies around. It means this is an area we humans mostly control. We'll choose this area to set up base. Tai Wo smiled. The 9 sector lords nodded. Luo Feng discovered through his screen that within the 1 billion kilometers area, there were 2 gathering markers. It was obvious that there were 2 human and allies areas within that fragment. Tai Wo pointed in the distance. The scanners have discovered a deep cave within. It should be left behind by one of the teams. We don't need to waste our strengths. The 10 warriors swiftly flew over, closing millions of kilometers in an instant as they landed randomly within the fragment. This fragment had many marks of battle. It was clear that over trillions of years, it had received countless ripples and attacks. Its largest diameter was 1.6 kilometers and smallest was 1.1 kilometers. It had a total of 21 pathways within. Luo Feng and the team followed one pathway until they reached the core of the fragment. This was a huge cave with a diameter of about 100 meters. It's pretty big. Tai Wo smiled and pointed at the ground. A resting quarters completely made of tungsten essence appeared and landed on the ground. Open. Tai Wo ordered. The cabin door opened automatically and the group entered. Within the resting room deep in the fragment. We just arrived at Shattered Stars system, everybody take a rest. Tai Wo smiled. We'll first contact our neighbors through the virtual universe network, the allies that we have in this 1 billion kilometers area. Even though humans have taken most of the region, there will be other race warriors that might invade the area. We cannot see their markers, and those that come will definitely have confidence and strength. Just our sector Lord team won't be able to handle them alone, it's better to contact our allies. After which Tai Wo closed his eyes and sent his consciousness into the virtual universe network to contact the neighbors. The others relaxed, all calming themselves. They rested in order to do better in battle. 1 billion contribution points and 10 trillion. Luo Feng sat in the sofa and pondered. The army gave me a quota of 1 billion. As long as I finish that, I'll be free. I can choose to retire or exchange for treasure, even choosing to continue to battle or battling alone. I'll first stick with Tai Wo and the others. I'll swiftly gain experience about the battlefield and I'll be able to quickly complete my 1 billion points quota too. He thought. Once that's done, I'll probably understand how to survive in the battlefield, then I'll no longer need to stick to the team. Sticking to this team, he had no way to fully unleash his strength. As there were too many people, revealing his true strength would shock them and they would naturally tell their other friends about it. Then it'd be troublesome. Luo Feng was very clear. His status as the primal chaos city leader's disciple didn't bring just benefits, it brought dangers as well. The other races would madly rush to kill him. When I work alone later on, I'll be able to unleash my strength and kill the other races. Even if my identity is revealed, I can swiftly switch locations. I'm still a newbie here. I have to gain more experience. Luo Feng thought, I'll help out this team while I'm here. At this time, Tai Wo opened his eyes. Ha, I've already contacted our neighbors. They are also 2 elite sector lord teams led by Undyings. One is a human elite team, while another is an allied race team. Tai Wo smiled. We've formed a offensive and defensive alliance. If anyone other race warriors dare attack us here, we 3 will join together. Our survival rate would grow by a huge amount. Everybody rest for a day. Tomorrow we begin our battle. Yes. The 9 sector lords replied, all filled with anticipation. The 7 old members were on high alert when they arrived in Shattered Star. This was completely normal to them, as they had been in such environments for too long. Luo Feng was on high alert too when they first arrived. There was a saying that an able person was more daring. With his high perspectives and mental state, Luo Feng quickly got used to such a state of alertness, that of being in critical danger at any time. As for Rock, he was a new recruit too, however his strength was far from Luo Feng's, and was only considered exceptional amongst other sector lords. After rushing to Shattered Stars the moment he signed on, the moment he thought about being in such danger all the time, he was unable to calm down. Since the killing aura within the entire area was too heavy, he was a nervous wreck. Rock, you should send a part of your consciousness to the virtual universe network to play some games and relax. Tai Wo smiled as he noticed. Yes, Captain. Rock was filled with regret. Don't feel bad, everyone here. When we first came to the wars, the feeling of a battle breaking out at any time, it forced everyone to go crazy. There are no such terrifying places in humanity's territories. The new recruits all go through the same thing, we call it the new recruit sickness. Tai Wo smiled. Rock nodded and connected to the virtual universe network to relax. Captain. Demon Lady smiled, Madman doesn't seem to have that sickness at all, he seems totally calm. You think he's an ordinary person? Poison lay in his sofa and hugged his bottle of wine. He seemed to enjoy drinking the most out of all the members. As for creating potions, most of his experiments were done in the virtual universe, as it was realistic enough. As long as there are enough materials, he could do the same in reality. The group chatted casually, some choosing to rest up. Very quickly, the next day came. Gather. The undying Tai Wo ordered. Poison, Mad Wu, God, Madman, they all swiftly stood up. This is our first mission since coming to Shattered Stars, we have to succeed. Tai Wo's gaze swept past the 9 of them. The old members should know the rules. New recruits, when we encounter special situations, just watch how the old members react. Yes. Luo Feng and Rock nodded. All right, let's go. Tai Wo smiled and ordered. We can finally begin to gain contribution points. Ha, I used up most of mine long ago. The old members all laughed. These old members had gone through many life or death situations to become sector lord generals. They had long completed their quotas, hence they were free from the army long ago. They could use the points gathered to exchange for treasures they needed. Normally 100,000 contribution points added up to one mixed element. Luo Feng and group swiftly exited the nest. The captain naturally kept the resting quarters. C9 grade ship. Luo Feng and Rock stood on the fragment, shocked at the floating ship. Right, we'll be taking a C9 grade ship out. Tai Wo nodded. This C9 ship's weakness is its slow acceleration and deceleration, and it dodges slow too. However, the moment it accelerates, it can be quite fast too. Reaching sub-light speed shouldn't be too hard. The most important thing is, there are too many powerful warriors in Shattered Stars. They can attack at any time. The moment they do, the ship would be destroyed. I'll be staying here for a long time. If we lose a ship every time, I cannot afford such losses. Such C9 grade ships are very cheap. Even if I lose hundreds of thousands to millions of them, I wouldn't feel the pinch. Tai Wo smiled. Luo Feng was stunned. C9 grade ships were indeed very cheap. Even 1 million of them wouldn't add up to one mixed element. To an undying, it was indeed very, very cheap. After all, any heirs to some powerful families all can sit in C-grade ships. These were definitely made large scale. Just one ancient family alone would probably have up to tens of millions of them. And the wealth of such families usually didn't even add up to an undying's. Luo Feng and the others sat in the low-quality C9 ship, flying at sub-light speed, dodging the many fragments and maintaining distance from them. The scanning device I bring along with me is worth 120 mixed elements, which is much more valuable than a C9 grade ship. Tai Wo stood in the resting quarters and smiled. This scanning device is able to detect life signals within area with a diameter of 100 million kilometer. Even though we know the markers of our allies, we don't know our enemies. Hence we have to rely on such devices. This thing, we cannot scrimp on it. A good scanning device is very important. Luo Feng laughed. The scanning device was indeed important, hence before coming to the outer region wars, he had exchanged for one himself. With his status and discount, he spent 3.9 million points on one. Naturally, to Luo Feng, who had 3 billion points back then, it didn't cost much, and whether it was the outer region wars or the secret regions, this would come in handy. Even after discount, it was 3.9 million points. If it were auctioned outside, it would cost at least 10 million mixed elements, and normal official level undyings only had that much. Such an expensive scanning device like this, normally only Emperor level undyings could afford. If the enemy has a powerful scanning device too, it would detect our scan. Tai Wo said, naturally a lot of other races are weaker technologically. They would only detect us after we began our attack. The ship continued to progress. The first day, they were mostly within the area with their allies. The second day, it began with sparse warriors about. Later on they discovered many other race warriors. Second day, in the ship. Quick, change direction and fly away from the target. Tai Wo ordered. The ship changed its direction and maintained its sublight speed. What's wrong, Captain? Why so scared? Demon Lady and Mad Wu mocked. Tai Wo hushed them. There are ripples of 6 undyings. What? Luo Feng was slightly shocked. Everybody else, however, jumped up. 6 undyings gathered together. The illusionist Wei, hugging his cat, stared wide-eyed. Relax, we've been maintaining our speed close to the limit within the area. And with us flying away from them, even if they wanted to chase, they wouldn't be able to. Tai Wo smiled. They probably detected us too and are too lazy to bother. A team formed from 6 undyings. Luo Feng was curious. This team might have an official level strength within such a team. Tai Wo nodded. Such a terrifying team is definitely a trump card team. We are only an elite team. If we faced off, just one official level Undying would be able to kill us all. Flying within the space, they were careful throughout. After experiencing several other dangerous situations. Discovered target. 92.84 million kilometers away from target. There are a total of 5 of them, they should all be sector lords. Taiwo said. 5 sector lords. No difficulty at all. The white armored god smiled. Be careful everyone, those able to come to Shattered Stars are all not easy opponents. Even if they are just 5 sector lords, they should have some trump cards. Poison warned. Understood. Relax little Chen Chen. The ship then began to slow down and headed towards the targets. Distance shrinking, 90 million kilometer, 80 million, 70 million, the 5 sector lords stayed within a fragment without any movement. I guess their scanning device is just average, hence they haven't discovered our scan, and their scanner should have been jammed by ours already. Taiwo said. Anyone in the outer region wars definitely had scanning devices. If I can detect you and you can't detect me, this was the difference in technology. Like when they were attacked by the automaton warrior before, their scanners never picked up anything. It was obvious the enemy was much more advanced in technology. And this time, it seemed like their own device was superior to the target's. After a while, the distance closed to 3 million kilometers. Ship decreasing speed, stopping. We've already detected their appearances. They are 5 other race sector lords, look. Taiwo's arm screen shot out a blurry light that projected the images in mid-air. It had their height and size, skin color etc. along with detailed information. It was 5 other race warriors. Their heights were between 21-25 m, and they were definitely giants compared to humanity. They all wore thick armor. The top half of their bodies were close to humans. The bottom half were creatures with 6 thick hooves, with a long scale tail, their entire body was covered in green scales. Lei Quan race. Taiwo said seriously. They are creatures proficient in thunder, they are on the Bug clan's side. Poison nodded. No wonder they dared to come here, the thunder race creatures are harder to deal with. These old members all began their discussions. Luo Feng carefully looked at the pictures, getting a better understanding of the other races. Actually Taiwo and Poison etc., they didn't know detailed information about the other races that much. They used their countless battles and interactions with the other races to accumulate their experiences. Hence they had a rough understanding of their abilities. Luo Feng however knew everything extremely well. Lei Quan race. They had a sacred land Lei Quan. Every infant would be placed in that area, when they could use their own strengths to climb up to the peak of the area and out of it. Only then would their nurturing stage be complete. Hence every one of them were naturally proficient in lightning laws, they could naturally control it and their comprehension of the laws too naturally made their strengths powerful. Just like the Mosha clansmen being proficient in the space laws and the golden horned beast in that of the gold. Naturally. Even though they had natural talent, they mostly relied on the evolution from the Lei Quan sacred land. Hence, in terms of comprehension and law unleashing, it couldn't compare to the Mosha clansmen. Even so, compared to humans, it was already a huge advantage. However, they did have a weakness. Their numbers weren't even a millionth of humanity. Everybody get out of the ship. And sneak in. We will unleash our attacks simultaneously. Captain Taiwo ordered. Yes. The group sneakily flew down and Taiwo kept the ship. Later on, they tore through the space and headed towards the fragment where the 5 sector Lord Lei Quan race warriors were hiding. This video will end here.